Noswaith, good evening. We are back here on for another episode of the NFL Cymru podcast, and it's the eve of Thanksgiving. Whether you're celebrating Thanksgiving here in the UK, definitely over in the United States, because probably that is. I'm trying to think. Apart from Christmas and maybe the 4th of July, Independence Day, that is the biggest holiday. Uh, in terms of football, I think there's a term in America where they said that American football, has taken over Thanksgiving, because we've got four games going on within the space of 24 hours, or well, less than that, 12 hours really. Starting off with the Lions, the Detroit Lions over the last couple of years, especially since Dan Campbell took them over, 4 or 5 seasons ago. They've become the designated team of America on Thanksgiving. So they're going to start us off a divisional game at home against the Packers. Very, very tasty. And then we'll come to the others later on because they're going to be involved in our five of the week. So there we are. Happy Thanksgiving to you all, because this will be going out on Thanksgiving. Now then, just to let you know, obviously me and Guto kind of had a brainwave mid-episode last week saying, wouldn't it be fantastic to have a live show during one of the games on Thanksgiving? However, obviously because we live in Wales, um, dependent if you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, 5 or 8 hours difference. We thought logistic wise, it's not quite going to work this time. However, we will try and do something like a live show very, very shortly because I think it'll be really, really good for us. It's going to be a live
Yeah.
first show. So for now, this is our Thanksgiving preview show. So Gito, hi, how are you? How's your week been so far?
Yeah, good week, thank you. Nice coming out of the weekend with a win for a change.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a bit of a smile in this episode. Um, Apologies to the fans that we're not going to be doing a live episode tomorrow for the Thanksgiving games, but we will try and sort something out for. We'll give the fans a bit of a treat, hopefully before the end of the season when it comes to a live episode. But
Yeah.
happy Thanksgiving to everyone and anyone who is celebrating it. Um, but yeah, no, looking forward to breaking down week 13 where
Yeah.
things are starting to get real in the NFL.
So you were saying that you've got a smile on your face, obviously. So for those of you who watched last episode, let's just say that Gito went on a Falcons rant. And to be fair, I've had a rant of myself because gosh, going back 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had a Dolphins rant as well. But no rant for me this evening because the Dolphins were on a bye following their win coming off the international game in Madrid. So I was actually quite happy over the weekend, and I got to sit back and I got to observe and watch other teams. So I watched the Chiefs Colts game, which was very, very interesting. So the Chiefs got a really, really huge victory at home, badly needed because a lot of people were saying if they would have lost that game to another AFC divisional, an AFC opponent, that their chances of even getting a wild card was diminishing. So it's a massive, and they've got a massive game coming up tomorrow as well. So going to save that up. So Gito, so like you said, no Falcons rant this evening.
Hmm.
However, so you did watch the Falcons beat the Saints.
Yeah.
Um, so no Penix, obviously, no Drake London in this game. So it was Kirk Cousins, and to be fair, from what I saw, because I haven't seen the highlights, Darnell Mooney seemed to have finally stepped at the plate, and he really took over in this game. Man, I think you said he scored a 50, 60 yard touchdown as well in this game.
He did. I picked the wrong week to bench Daniel Mooney on my fantasy. So, but anyway, yeah, I watched 3 quarters of the game against the Saints live. I watched some of the highlights towards well, on the next day. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, it took him a bit to get his groove. I think he looked a bit nervy throwing the ball, so we were relying on Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier in the
Mm.
running game. Our defense, I have to give praise to the defense, and especially Devine Diablo, who we signed from the Raiders last season, I believe.
Yeah.
He's come back from an injury, and it shows that we've missed him. He was exceptional in this game. we had a couple of interceptions as well. The Saints didn't really have much going on, to be honest with you. Although they did score a pick six against us. So, but Kirk Cousins, especially towards the second quarter, started throwing a lot more of the balls. Get Kyle Pitts involved. And I believe it was the third or the fourth quarter, he threw a 60-yarder to Darnell Mooney, which we saw quite frequently last season. Not a whole lot of Darnell Mooney this season, obviously due to injuries and everything else. So it was good to see that we came with a win. Obviously, it's always good to beat the Saints as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very good win. A very you have to be happy about it. Obviously, we've had a rough few weeks. The last 6 weeks has been horrible for the Falcons and the fans, whether it's on the field or whether it's backstage. But no, really, really good coming back from the weekend with a win. And we'll be looking forward to this next game coming up on Sunday against the New York Jets. So we could potentially see us win two in a row for the first time this season, which is in week 13 is absolutely nuts to hear. But yeah, no, very good win for the Falcons on the weekend.
Yeah, so nice to have two. What are they? 2-9 teams back to back, which that's exactly what you need. Like you said, in the
Yeah.
midst of a really really tough stretch like you've had. So obviously no Penix,
Mm.
no Drake London in this game. So the
Yeah.
Dolphins are playing at home against the Saints, coming off their bye on Sunday. I just wanted to ask you, in terms of the Saints, how did Tyler Shook look, and how did the New Orleans offense look? I know you said that they had a pick six on defense. How did they look offensively? Because I think I just looked at the injury report, and the Saints are going to be without Alvin Kamara for this game.
Mm.
Brandon Cooks has been traded, or has been released rather. He's now with Buffalo.
Yeah.
So New Orleans are pretty down to the bare bones here. How did Tyler Shook look?
Not very exciting, to be completely honest with you. He didn't show a lot of spark, if I'm being completely honest with you. Yeah, they had a couple of moments, as every team does, obviously. Obviously, we had an interception from him, but let's be honest, he's not a future quarterback, is he?
Yeah.
For the New Orleans Saints, they will be looking elsewhere, definitely. And I wouldn't probably trust Spencer Rattler either, to be honest with you. So, if you Dolphins defense, I don't think you have a lot to worry about going into that
Okay.
game. Um, Obviously, their defense, obviously, like I said, every team has their moments as well. So you will get the odd one or two moments where everything goes against you and the team does play well. But we went to the Falcons came into New Orleans and they did pretty well. Obviously, with the hostility as well of the fans. But no, are you playing in New Orleans or is it in Miami?
No, no, we're playing at home.
Oh, so I wouldn't have nothing to worry about that. Honestly,
Mm.
I think I would suggest it'd be a comfortable win for the Dolphins.
Well, you say this. I've done a bold move, Gitter, and I've selected the Dolphins defense for my fantasy
Hmm.
league this week, because the Dolphins have had a few turnovers over the last couple of weeks, and that's why I ask, really, because my usual defense are the Chiefs, and obviously they've been coming up against the Colts last week, and they're up against Dallas tomorrow, who,
Yeah,
well, had an incredible second half against the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk about that very, very soon. So I don't really trust the Chiefs this week against Dallas, and I thought that it's a favourable matchup. So I've changed it. I've gone with the Dolphins defense this week against Tyler
yeah,
Shook and the Saints coming into Hard Rock Stadium. So hopefully that'll pay off, and hopefully we'll be able to get a few turnovers or to limit them to as
yeah,
many points as possible. So there we are. Happy Gitto. Good. This is good. This is much better. Happy Falcons. This is great. So you're 4-7. Obviously, so the Bucks have lost two or three in a row.
yeah.
Baker Mayfield suffered an injury. However, I think you said that he's day to day with an MC sprain to his shoulder, so we're not sure if he's going to start on Sunday. Carolina also lost, so I believe you're only 2.2 games back from being from leading the division. So
Hmm.
obviously you've got the Jets this week. I believe are you at home against the Jets? I mean, it doesn't really matter if I'm honest with you. If you're home or away against the Jets, that should be down. That should be a victory. So that
Yeah.
could potentially put you, Gito, only one game behind either the Panthers or the Bucks. Um, which going back a couple of weeks ago, I'm sure you're going to have. I'm sure you'd be happy to take that position. Currently, with only what going into the last month of the season.
Yeah, got my notes. It's absolutely great. It's crazy how quick the landscape in the NFL can actually change.
Yeah,
You think you're so far ahead, and then all of a sudden, with a lot happening, we're 2 wins away from being top spot in the NFC South. The Bucks have lost three in a row. The Panthers
yeah,
lost on the weekend to the 49ers. The Panthers, I'm just having a look at quick fixtures. So the Buccaneers are playing Cardinals at home on the
okay.
weekend, and I believe the Panthers will be playing against no one. I think they're on a bye. So the
Other than
Panthers are
bye.
on a bye this weekend. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's same with the Dolphins. Obviously, you lost what 5 or 6 in a row, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you
We've won two in a row
you've
now.
got
Yeah.
you've got a higher record than the Falcons with 4 and
Yeah.
7. So
Yeah.
it's nuts how much, and you've won 2 in a row coming
Yeah.
off from bye week as well,
Yeah.
going into a game against the Saints.
And we're
So,
playing
but
we're
yeah,
playing the
no,
Saints this week and we're playing the Jets next week as well.
well, exactly. So some might say Miami are going to start competing, but who knows? Who knows? A lot can happen.
Yeah,
A lot
yeah,
can
let's
happen. So
let's pump the brakes a little there
yeah,
because yeah, it's I obviously I think we've left it too late in terms of making a run, and if
yeah,
miraculously we do happen to pull it off, what, 4, 5, 6 wins in a row, that gets us back to 500. I still think it's not going to be enough because you've got so many teams in front of us
mm,
looking for a wild card
yeah,
berth. You've got Jacksonville, you've got Baltimore are I've taken over. They're top of the division now in the North, which is absolutely crazy. You've got Pittsburgh obviously at 6-5,
yeah,
the Chiefs at 6-5 as well. So I think it's just going to be too much. We've left it too late, and like you said, losing 4, 5, 6 games in a row. Um, it we've start basically get to the Dolphins have started 2-6 in the last two years, and we've dug ourselves a hole. And if I'm
yeah,
honest with you, I'm kind of surprised that we are uh, able to compete with decent teams. I know that we've played the Commanders, but we beat the Bills at home. I know now, obviously, coming off our
yeah,
bye, we've got the Saints and the Jets as well, and then we've got a game against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. So that's going to be more of a measuring stick for the Dolphins within the next couple of weeks. So
yeah.
the game that I saw, obviously, because the Dolphins were on a bye on the weekend, I watched the Chiefs Colts game.
Mm,
Um, this was really a game of two halves. The Chiefs were down 11 points at the beginning of the fourth quarter at home against the 8-3 Colts, I believe, at the
yeah,
time, or 8-2, and now they're 8-3. High stakes for Kansas City. Obviously, they were 5-5. They'd lost, I believe, before Sunday. They'd lost 5 games within one score this season, which is unlike the Chiefs. Usually they do well. I think last year they were 12-0 in close games at the end of the
mm,
fourth quarter, and they just kind of haven't been able to do it from one reason to another. But they managed to get the win in the end against the Colts.
yeah,
That's I think their record now is 6-5. And they've got a really, really tough game because
mhm,
they're going into Dallas, obviously, tomorrow. But I was really impressed. I thought Mahomes was incredible in this game. He threw for over 300. Rashid Rice went for almost 150 as well. The running game all of a sudden has been the Chiefs, sore point really all season came to life with Kareem Hunt, and they looked a completely different team, especially with the defense in the second half. They weren't able to stop the Colts on offense in the first half, and then amazing coach Steve Spagnuolo. He managed to make a few changes, adjusted, and they look like a completely different team. So look out for the Chiefs. I think that was a big
Yeah.
win for them. And like I said, obviously the bigger test rather is going to be at Dallas tomorrow. So we're going to preview that very, very shortly, Guto. Anything
Yeah.
else that you want to point out from week, what was it, week 13?
From week 12, as we're
Oh,
heading
sorry,
into
week 12. Yeah,
13,
my bad.
I think we should highlight our Player of the Week.
Yes.
For the second time in NFL Cymru this season, this is his second award. Jahmyr Gibbs with 3 touchdowns, 219 rushing yards, and 45 receiving yards against the Giants. The Giants, who are now officially eliminated from playoff
Yes.
contention. But yeah, it was another overtime win for in that week for the Lions. The Giants did pretty well with Jameis Winston as their quarterback.
They looked
Um,
really good. Really
yeah,
good. I mean,
yeah,
Jameis managed to score a touchdown, a receiving touchdown of himself. They did a
yeah,
trick play, and I don't want to. Well, I'm not sure who the Detroit defensive player who literally got stiff armed in the face by Jameis Winston because he threw him down to the ground and managed to sprint towards the end
mm,
zone. So that was a memorable play for me from week 12. But the Giants at one
yeah,
time, I generally
mm,
thought that they were going to win. But like you said, what a baller
yeah,
Jahmyr Gibbs is. He scored what, a 65-yard touchdown on the first play of
yeah,
overtime as well, to put the
mm,
Lions ahead. So yeah, like you said, second award of the season. He is absolutely incredible, and Detroit roll on. But they're still
yeah.
not top of the division, which is absolutely crazy because Chicago managed to win as well. Another close game.
Yeah.
How they managing to win these games, I don't know. So I think Detroit are one game back behind. I think they're behind Chicago, I believe.
They're actually currently, well, shockingly, they're currently third with Packers taking the second spot.
Yeah, right.
But only because the Green Bay Packers has that one tie game against
A
Dallas.
tie, of course.
So they're 7-3-1. Who will go up against the Lions, who are 7-4 tomorrow as one of the Thanksgiving games, which we will preview in just a moment. Another thing I think is worth mentioning from Week 12 is probably the biggest highlight of the NFL draft. Shadir Sanders making his first actual
Mm.
start for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, he's the first Browns quarterback to have a win in his first start in 45 quarterbacks later, which is an absolute crazy stats. He threw a touchdown and 209 yards in his first start. He had an interception as well, but I thought he did okay. The only
Yeah.
thing I worry about with Shadir Sanders, obviously he's young, and obviously he was one of the main focal point from the NFL draft because of his character. I just thought he was very forward and maybe a little too confident in his
His
interviews.
demeanor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what I think about it. I just think he needs to be a little bit more humble, maybe, if that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right
yeah.
word, and just show just calm down a little bit, show what more he can do,
Mm.
and yeah, take it from there. But obviously, congratulations to him, first game, first start, first win.
Cool. So obviously, because it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, we're going to have a slate of 4 games on tomorrow. So the early one is obviously, as we mentioned before, uh, Packers at Lions, divisional game, second against third in the NFC North. Like you said, mad that the Chicago Bears are top of that division at the moment. However, this is a massive game. Lions tend to do really well, especially at home on Thanksgiving games. Uh, that's why, Gitter, I think we've gone with the Lions for the W here. However, some news I think on the Lions. They have signed 4-time Pro Bowler Frank Ragnow out of retirement, Guitar, and we couldn't believe he's only 29, so he must
Yeah.
have retired quite early because of injury. He's a
Mm.
centre, by the way. The Lions have had a lot of injuries on their O line at the moment, so I'm not sure if he's potentially going to be starting tomorrow against the
Mm.
Packers. But like you said, Jameer Gibbs firing on all cylinders at the moment. So did Amon Ra, had a really, really good game. I think he got over 150 yards once again.
Yeah.
So I think just because they're home and the Lions seem to be rolling at the moment, I feel quite safe that this might be a Lions victory. Do you agree?
Yeah, when I wrote this down, I think I went for a Lions win on this one as well. Just because they're at home, I think this will be a very interesting game. It
Yeah.
seems to happen on Thanksgiving that there's always a NFC North battle. Last year we had
Mm.
Lions against the Bears on Thanksgiving, so this year we'll be having Lions against the Packers. And with Frank Ragnow coming back from retirement as well, we assume it's from a health issue. That's why he had to retire early. But he's coming back. He's 29. It's probably too early for him to come back and play tomorrow. But I was just looking at the Lions' schedule, where their game for next week looks very interesting. But we'll get to that just a little bit later on after we highlight the second game on our Thanksgiving 5 of the week. So,
Cool. Which is obviously this is
um,
another intriguing one for me. Yeah, go
yeah.
for it, Gito. What is it going to be?
Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, you mentioned Chiefs earlier in the episode. They are starting to find their groove. Patrick Mahomes looking at it like his best again. Everything's starting to click for them. They had to win in overtime against the Colts, but so did the Dallas Cowboys against the reigning Super Bowl champs Philadelphia Eagles. So this one is a very tasty encounter. I don't think you gave me an answer before we started the episode of who you're actually going to go for.
Yeah.
Have you decided who
Yes.
you're going to go for?
Yeah. I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs in this one. I just
Mhm.
think, like I said, Sunday's win at home against the Colts were just massive for just morale. I think, and I think mentally that was massive for them as a squad as well. And I know Dallas played an incredible second half. To be honest with you, Gito, I saw the score at close to halftime. Philadelphia were up 21-7, and they were just
Yeah.
dominating. But the
Yeah.
turnaround, fair play from the Cowboys was incredible. I think they scored 20 unanswered points in the second half. They kept Philadelphia was scoreless in the second half, so it was an incredible comeback victory. So there is that, obviously. I don't know, something about Patrick Mahomes in prime time Gito.
Yeah.
I just kind of think that the Chiefs, I think they're gonna start rolling here, and I think this is gonna be a classic high scoring game. Watch people like, I think CD Lamb and Pickens are going to go absolutely off in this game. But with the Kansas City running game coming back stronger, Rashee Rice looking really, really good as well. I just think that the Chiefs might just sneak it. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I was leaning towards the Dallas Cowboys winning this one, to be honest with you. But look, we'll go with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are, like I said, they're looking at
Mm,
like their best again. Patrick
yeah.
Mahomes, and yeah, he's at his very best again after a rough start to the season, and
Mm.
there's no sign of them slowing down. But I would not be surprised if we'll go with the Chiefs on this one. But I won't be surprised if Dallas do pull an upset in this one. It will be an
Yeah.
upset. The game I mentioned next week, opening week 14, it will be the Lions against the Dallas Cowboys as well. So I think that's a very interesting matchup to watch next week in week 14. Um,
Absolutely.
I just want, yeah, I just want to mention one thing about the Dallas Cowboys quickly before we move on. We haven't really paid tribute or our condolences to Marshall Nealand, who passed away 3 weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah.
The Dallas Cowboy. He was only 24 years of age, which isn't an age at all to pass away. It's quite a very sad situation what happened with him. So
Mhm.
you see the players, they're bonding, like they're in this together sort of thing. They're paying tribute to him. Is a wonderful thing to see. So I just wanted to obviously pay tribute from us
Absolutely.
from us to and send our condolences to Marshall Nealand and obviously the Cowboys and Nealand's family and everything. So since we haven't done it before, so just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, well said, Guto. It's an absolute, like you said, it was just a heartbreaking situation.
Mm.
Obviously, we won't say what the details were on this, but obviously, if you want to look it up, it's a harrowing story, and
Mm.
one that's getting very very common. Maybe not around the NFL, but just in our daily lives. So yeah, it's absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
moving on, the third slate is another divisional game, Guto, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Now, we've had a lot of talk about, is Burrow going to come back? I don't think he is going to come back because obviously Cincinnati lost again on the weekend.
Mm.
A close game to the New England Patriots, which pretty much, I think this was their eighth loss, I believe, which pretty much, that has pretty much eliminated them from um, playoff contention, even though the Ravens now, after winning 3 or 4 in a row, are 6-5 and leading the division because the Steelers are just falting at the moment, obviously without Aaron Rodgers. So I think, even though the Bengals are at home, they were without Jamar Chase because he was suspended, by the way, for spitting
Yeah.
at Jalen Ramsey. Um, so this is actually, so they're playing each other again. So they're playing each other twice within the last 3 weeks, but this time at Cincinnati. Um, so no, sorry, that was the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the Ravens. This is a completely different team. Sorry, but Chase is going to be back. Um, and for me, Guitar, I'm going to go with the Ravens of this game. Obviously, they've got Lamar back. No, he seems to be healthier. And I think the Ravens are going to keep rolling. You know, Derrick Henry had a really nice game over the weekend. And just once again, you just have to look at the Bengals defense, and that kind of says it all. That makes it easy for
Yeah.
me to know about you.
Yeah, I think this one is a pretty easy decision. It's mad to think that the Baltimore Ravens were once 1-5, and now they've won 5 in a row. They're 6-5, top of the
Hmm.
division. Obviously overtaking the Steelers, who are also 6-5, but with a loss in their previous game. Yeah, the Bengals. I do think Burrow might make an appearance. I think I've read that he is. Looking likely, but I'll
Gosh.
need to read that from another source. So I'm not sure. But for me, anyway, with the way the Baltimore Ravens are going at the moment, I can't see them losing this one against the Bengals, even though if it's a divisional matchup in the AFC North. We've got the Ravens winning this one.
I just think it's absolutely pointless for Burrow to come back. It. So I genuinely, I don't get it at all. I just think that he's risking injury once again. If
Mm.
I'm honest with you, because that O line seems so dodgy.
Yeah,
Um, I just think it's not very. It's just not very good planning, I think, from the organization. But
yeah,
yeah, we'll see if he makes an appearance this week, or it might be next week as well. And if they do lose this week, it'll be their ninth loss, and that's pretty much curtains for them for the season anyway. So we'll see
yeah,
when that
yeah.
comes. Now then, penultimate one is a really tasty one for me, Guitar, and so the Eagles coming off a really, unexpected loss, like we said, to the Dallas Cowboys. They now have to travel to Chicago to play the Bears, who are 8-3, I believe. Um, One of the streakiest teams in the NFL at the moment, apart from maybe the New England Patriots. A lot of people, and I
Mm.
think I agree, that maybe their record is a little bit of a little bit of a lie per se, because although they're 8-3, they have won something like 5 or 6 really really close fourth quarter um, W's wins. So
Yeah.
it could easily have gone the other way, and they could be, with 5 or 6 losses. So I'm not sure if I trust the Bears when it comes to playoff time. But however, they are at home against the Eagles. The Eagles look a little bit shell shocked coming off that loss in Dallas, and they look a little bit uh, well, just kind of all over the place, really. I know that they had decent numbers on offense. kind of fell apart on defense, especially in the second half. Um, I've got the Bears in this one.
Okay. Yeah. So the Bears in the NFC standings, they're currently third behind the Rams and the Eagles with them, and they've won four in a row. Like I said, very close games as well. They're 4-1 at home, so they've only lost one game at home as well. So both teams, the Eagles and the Bears, both 8-3. Eagles coming from a loss against the Cowboys. This one is a tough call. It really is. I'm not sure how this one's actually going to go. Do I see the Eagles losing that confidence against the Cowboys and they haven't had enough, maybe not enough time to recover from it? Because obviously it's a short week, with them playing just on Sunday night. And the Bears, obviously, they're flying at the moment. Do I see them carry on um, their winning ways against top team, the Eagles? I'm not sure. Although, for the sake of this episode, I will go for the Bears on this one, just to make
Yeah,
our five of the week interesting. But I am very intrigued about how this one is actually going to go. Caleb
yeah,
Williams, he's having a great season, I think, which
he
is
is.
weird. The first couple of weeks, the fans wanted him gone. The fans wanted the coach to be sacked, and now all of a sudden they're 8-3. So, like I said, it's crazy how quick everything can change in the NFL. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think this one could be potentially the game of the weekend. This one.
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. Um, so the last one, let's wrap it up then before we shoot off this evening. So Steelers at Bills is another tasty AFC one for me.
Yeah.
This is quite straightforward for me, Gito. The Bills at home, coming off a bye, I think. And oh no, they lost. Sorry, they lost. They had a really bad loss against the Texans on Thursday Night
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah.
Um, the Steelers, I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to play in this game. Obviously, all signs were that he was going to play last weekend, but all of a sudden, Mason Rudolph was the starting QB,
Yeah.
and the Steelers didn't look great on offense. If I'm honest with you, so Bill, I this is quite simple. Like I said, Bills at home. I think I'm just going to back the Bills coming off a loss as well.
Mm.
And let's be honest, if the Bills are going to, well, I'm not sure if they're running out of time to catch up with the Patriots. I think they're 2 games behind in the AFC East.
Mm.
If they want to win the division, this is a must win game for them, I think.
Yeah, they have to make a statement in this one against the Steelers. They're currently 7-4, with Patriots being 10-2,
Yeah,
winning 9 games in a row. By the way, the Patriots absolutely berserk. But yeah, Bills losing their last game. The Steelers losing their last game. Both teams will be hoping to get a win in this one to put their stamp in the playoff picture to prove that they belong to be there. Um,
yeah,
I'm happy to go with the Bills in this one. I think just overall they are the better team than the
mm,
Steelers. We'll probably find out on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, like we did previously, if Rodgers will be starting or not with his
yeah,
broken hand, which isn't really a throwing hand either. So, but we'll
yes.
wait and see that one. But yeah, I'm happy to go with the Bills on this one. I think the Bills will come out on top on this one.
Yeah, well, there we are. That wraps up our five of the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to shoot off because I'm solo parenting this week, so and I can hear my son in the background. So anyway, hope you enjoy this episode. Hope you enjoy the slate of Thanksgiving games. It's probably one of the best days in terms of the NFL calendar because you've got four primetime games, and we've got. I'm looking at this, and probably 3 out of the 4 are going to be absolute classics, but you never know. I mean, you've got Ravens Bengals, and that's not, that's another divisional game. That's going to be another intriguing one as well, especially if Joe Burrow does rock up out of the blue as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure you are as well, Gito. We will reconvene next week. We're going to have a lot to sum up and to preview. Obviously, a lot of slate of games. We'll see what happens following the conclusion of the games tomorrow and on the weekend. Hopefully, we'll have another Falcons victory, so we have happy Gito instead of grumpy Gito, and hopefully you'll have another happy Dover as well, and hopefully the Dolphins can win 3 in a row, which is sounds absolutely crazy after starting so poorly at 2-6. So yeah, we'll cross everything for that. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving to you all. We will see you all next week for another episode. Watch, like, this will be up on YouTube. We're all over on socials at Wales NFL as well. Comment, like. Thank you so much again. We'll see you very, very shortly.